Hello students, good afternoon. Today we'll discuss the topic about the residential status of an individual. So we know that we need to pay the tax according to the status of an individual. So as per income tax, the taxable persons has been classified as follows: as a resident, not ordinary resident, and a non-resident. Here the taxability differs for each above the categories of taxpayers. So before we get into the taxability, let us understand how a taxpayer become a resident, not ordinary resident, and a non-resident. So we need to calculate what the residential status of a different persons. So how many types of persons are there? 7 types of persons. In this 7 types of persons, we'll deal with what an individual. So these are the provisions relating to the determination of residential status of an individual. To become a resident, you need to satisfy what? The basic conditions, any one of the basic conditions. So what is the first basic condition? His stay in India should what? 182 days or more during the relevant previous year. And if he doesn't satisfy the 182 days condition, then we need to check for what? 60 days condition. Means his stay in India should exceed what? 60 days or more during the relevant previous year. And 365 days or more during the 4 preceding previous year. Means in 4 preceding previous year, his stay must be what? 365 days or more. So if he satisfies any of the basic condition, then he will become what? Resident. And there are certain exemptions relating to this. So these are the exemptions related in following cases. So exemption to the basic condition in following cases, only the first basic condition need to be checked. Okay. So for the condition, who comes on a visit to India during the relevant previous year, just for a visit, not for the staying purposes. So the basic condition is what here? 182 days. Okay. And who is a crew member of an Indian ship. Means he's working, he is a member of a crew. So he always be going, coming like that. So his stay in India should, how many days? 182 days for this condition also. And who goes abroad for what? For employment purposes. Okay. And the person of an Indian origin who himself or his parents or grandparents were born in wherein undivided India, who comes to visit on India during the relevant previous year. So for these two categories, the first basic condition will be applied. Now, to become a resident, ordinary resident, apart from basic conditions, we need to satisfy both the additional conditions also. What are the additional conditions? He should be at least for 2 years, means he should be resident. Okay, for 2 years out of 10 preceding periods. So how will become resident? If he satisfy any of the basic condition, then he will become what? Resident. Like that, he need to satisfy for how many years? 2 previous years. Out of what? 10 preceding previous years. And his stay in India should exceed what? 730 days or more during the 7 preceding previous years. So this also we need to calculate. Both the conditions satisfied, then only he will become resident, ordinary resident. If he satisfies only the basic condition but does not the additional condition, then he will become resident, not ordinary resident. Okay. And if he doesn't satisfy any of the basic conditions, any of the 2 basic conditions, then he will become what? Non-resident. For this, I have taken an illustration as an example. Determine the residential status of A for the assessment year 1920. A is an Indian citizen and goes from India to Spain for a visit purposes on when 27th December 2018. Prior to this, he had never been out of India. So for this, first we need to calculate what? How many days he stayed during the previous year. Okay. So first we need to check what? Basic conditions. What are the basic conditions? 182 days during the previous year and 60 days during the previous year and 365 days during the 4 preceding periods. So any of the basic conditions we need to solve. So first check for the 182 days condition. When he left for Spain on 27th December, means till then, from 1st April to till 27th December, he is in India only. Means how many days he is in India? In April 30 days, May 31 days, June 30 days, July 31, August 31, September 30, October 31, November 30, and December 27. So total how many days? 271 days. So he has satisfied what? 182 days condition. Okay. A is a resident in India as he satisfied first basic condition by staying in India for what? For more than 182 days. And we need to check for what? Whether he is resident, ordinary resident or not ordinary resident. As in this problem they have told, he have been never been out of India, right? Means he would be satisfying both the additional conditions. Okay. So what is the first additional condition? The resident at least 2 previous year out of 10 preceding previous year. So what is the preceding previous year? 17, 18, 365 days he has satisfied. And 16, 17, 365 days he has satisfied. Means 2 years he is in India only. So he has satisfied the first additional conditions. Next, second additional condition is what? He stay in India during what? 730 days during the 7 preceding previous year. So all these years is in India only. Means he has been never been out of India. So his total stay during 7 preceding previous years is 2,557 days. So by this we can tell us he is a resident, ordinary resident in India. So he has satisfied the second additional condition also. Now second illustration. A is an Indian citizen and he is practicing as an advocate. He leaves India for his case purposes in UK on 9th May. So we need to determine his residential status. Okay, 9th May 2018. So what is his previous year? 1890. So in this case, both the basic conditions should be checked. So A does not fall under any exception to basic conditions. So he's in India during the previous year is only how many days? From 1st April to 9th May, means 30 plus 9 days, 39 days only. So A does not satisfy the first basic condition as his stay during the previous year is less than 182 days. A does not satisfy the second basic condition as his stay during the previous year is less than 60 days. So hence A is non-resident. Now we will determine how much tax they need to pay. Means according to the residential status of the person, we need to pay the tax, right? So this is what incidence of scope of total income. Okay, the first one is here income received in India. Means wherever you have accrued or wherever you have means you have received accrued outside India, but if you have received in India, means you have rendered services outside India, but you have received your income where in India. Your property is situated outside India, but you have received income where in India. Means if the income is received in India, it is taxable for whom? For resident, not ordinary resident and non-resident. Next, income deemed to be received in India, whether accrued in or outside India. Means it is accrued in India or outside India, whatever may be. Means it is not directly received, but it is indirectly credited your accounts like your interest. Means these will be received what after the retirement. Okay, it's like public provident fund, interest on public provident fund, whatever might be. So these will be received where in India or outside India. These are what deemed to be received in India. This is taxable for all the three residential statuses: resident, ordinary resident, resident, not ordinary resident, and non-resident. Income accruing or arising in India means, for example, you have rendered service in India, means it is income accrued or arising in India only. Whether you have received outside India, whatever might be. Okay, means if it is received in India or outside India, you have rendered services in India means income accruing arising in India. If you have property in India means income accruing arising in India. Okay, if you have sold one asset that is in India means income accruing or arising in India, it is taxable for all the three purposes. income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Means, for example, you have rendered services here, but you are receiving pension outside India. This we call it as what? Deemed to accrue or arise in India. You have bought shares, okay, in India, but you are receiving the dividend where outside India. So these are what? Income deemed to accrue or arise in. This third and fourth similarly related to one only. So this is taxable for all the three categories. Income received and accrue outside India, but a business being controlled and set up in India. If it is set up in India, if you have income received or outside India, whatever may be the situation, it is taxable for whom? Only for resident, ordinary resident, and resident, not ordinary resident. Next, income received and accrued outside India from a business control outside India and a profession setup means totally accrued outside India. Okay. So this is taxable only in one situation, that is resident, ordinary resident. Income earned and received outside India, but later remitted to India, whatever might be, this is also taxable in resident. Okay, resident, ordinary resident. Whereas dividend from an Indian company or a mutual fund is totally exempted, and agricultural income in India is also exempted, whereas agricultural income outside India is taxable. Past untaxed profits of earlier years is not taxable at all. Any remittances to India not taxable gifts from a relative occur on any occasion or a gift or a magic from any person is not taxable if the income does not exceed 50,000. Okay. Next, after listening to this video, I have given an assessment. So you have to submit in the next class. Okay, this is what program relating to scope of total income. All the transactions covered here, and then this is how to calculate the residential status of an individual. Thank you.